Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. I am going to take a few minutes tonight to explain a little bit of the origins of the name of my channel, so Value Vintage. This is video number 10, and I've had a few folks comment and say, either they feel like they collect the way I do, or saying, I wasn't too sure what exactly you meant by vintage is pretty clear, right? We have a little bit of range on that, but it's the value part. So some folks I think are thinking it's going to be, $50 and under, $100 and under, looking at value as being cheap, or low cost, or modest investment, whatever you want to go with that. But I look at value as more so looking at the pickup, the item as being a very, very high reward for a lower than fair exchange, what you're giving. So be it dollars or trading cards or whatever else you're giving up. So, if you buy a brand new Corvette for $50,000, that's by no means cheap or low cost. That's still a ton of money for most people in the world. But a new Corvette for $50,000 sounds like one heck of a smoking deal. So that's my approach to what value means. So I'm going to explain that in card world without going Corvettes. So for me, a card like this, this was one I picked up last year. This has been on my list of cards I've always wanted. I used to have, I think I had up to 3 different Cobbs at one point. I only have 2 now of the T206 series. So this one is authentic. I picked it up last year. Most of these you're seeing $2 to $2,500, at least back when I was shopping for them. I picked this one up for $16.50 on Facebook, so I think it was $16.50. If not, it was really darn close to that. But that would be, in my world, still a really, really big, huge investment. I don't take that lightly. That's definitely money you could allocate towards a million other things. So for that to go into one card, that's still a lot of money in my world. And it is clearly very well deserving of the authentic grade. But when I look at that, and especially you find a lot of the cards that I end up picking up, let me see, wrong hand. If I do that, that card's kind of sort of gorgeous on the front. Color's good, image is fine, you can see his face fine, bad, all the, the colors are nice, it's vibrant. It does have what seems to be almost a tear, and then the back I showed you is pretty rough. But this card, when you look at the investment of it, for what it is, fairly modest, because of the grade, because of the condition of it. Now this in a 3 is going to be 6 to 7. I think last I pulled was like 6,500, give or take. There's not a million of them selling, but that's a pretty fair comp if that was a 3. Would I love to have a 3? Of course. Is anyone going to blame me if you said I would take that one card in a 3 and be extremely happy with that? That makes sense. And I feel like there's probably a lot of folks that would go with that higher grade and say, this is it, I'm going to get this one card and I love it. Makes total sense. Love that card. But going with the kind of value condition, value option, what else can you do with that? So instead of having just that one card in a 3, which again, no hate there, that makes a ton of sense. But instead, I can grab a second T206. This is the most common one. This is not, by any means, the most expensive thing you can add to the collection, but it's going to be close to that. You can pick that up in a fantastic SGC1. Image is still good. Back has some staining. Oh well. I'm going to set that somewhere on a shelf and look at it. And sometimes with these, when they look, a little old and beaten up, given that it's a, 1909, 10, 11, whatever range, if it looks too good, I almost appreciate it less. The next one I would pick up, because if you're going to have 1 Cobb, 2 is better, and 3 is fantastic. This one is, I almost like break my rules immediately. The creasing is right across his face. I don't love that. The image of Ty Cobb himself is not fantastic, but when I was hunting for T205s, this does seem to be a little bit tougher issue. This one, to the benefit, the back's a little bit cleaner. I do love the TU205s too, because you almost get like that, 1990 Topps feel where they start giving you a little bit of stats. And the write-up on the T205s is generally really interesting. So if you read like the Chief Bender, the Addy Joss, some of those players, you get some really cool little, couple sentence stories that just make the card even that much more special. So that's kind of my thought. So I got those 3, but I'm not even done spending yet. I still haven't matched the same price as a 3. So what I would do is I would go out and buy what I consider to be one of the more underrated players historically. Hall of Fame catcher, and I'm going to do a deep dive on him coming up when I do a player run video. Really, really appreciate him. This is a post-playing day, but barely. I believe he was coach status only at this point. But here's a few things you get out of this. You get Iconic Set, 1952. You get Extreme High Number. And, it's number 400. And because I bought this in a 5, it's about $1,000. Oh, wait, hold on. This one's a 1. So it's not $1,000. But let's re-review that. It's still a pretty nice looking card. Again, this one, I don't know why I call them like goobers, but it's got it's got a scratch. It's got something going on his face. Centering, not perfect. Creasing, minor. Colors, pretty good. I enjoy it. To me, that's a solid 1. And I didn't spend 5 money to add this. So what do I do with that money? Well, I'm going to go shopping for cards. So the next one I'm going to add, instead of getting my Bill Dickey 1952 Topps as a 5, I'm going to add a T213 of, who's this guy? Tom Needham? No idea. I did not pick this up because I wanted a Tom Needham card. I picked this up because I thought that was just such a cool image. This is a T213. I call these the, few years later, super rare T206, almost oddball. So they don't do quite the same run as T206. It's a little bit smaller set. It is put out a few years later, but it seems to be far more scarce. Very much of a more like regional issue kind of feel than it is the T206 that seem to be found with 77,000 different backs and all the fun stuff to it. So this thing, pretty cool, consistent, neat back to it. I just think that image is so cool. And the fact you can make something really, really rare, that's what I enjoy. So instead of a 5, I got 2 1s, but I'd like to get to a 5. So I'm going to pick up one more card. This is from 1928, so this is almost like ultra modern in my world. This is not even 100 years old, so pretty contemporary. But it's my 3, so the 2 1s and the 3 will get me there. Can you see who that is? Good old Rogers Hornsby. It's one of those ice cream cards, so if you don't see some chocolate ice cream on there, it's not really authentic is what I think. But if you look at the population of this thing too, so 1928, I think PSA's seen 31 of these and SGC's seen like 15. So to me, that's when a card gets really, really rare, super, super cool, because now you're dealing with, on average, there's 1 per state. With where I live and some of the folks I've met, I am nowhere near crazy enough to say I'm the only one that has one of these in my state. But on average, it's about 1 per state. I'm sure there's some ungradeds out there, so feel free to show those if you have one. But yeah, to me, that's super, super cool. I'm a big Hornsby collector. I do believe he is the greatest right-handed hitter ever. So being a right-handed hitting second baseman in Little League, I have to associate pretty well with Rogers Hornsby. All right, so I've done most of my shopping at this point, but I got a few bucks left over. So let's see what else we got. We got a few rare-ish 1930s cards. Again, they're super modern, but they're ungraded. So I'll show you these couple by the pair since they are in the same set. But 34 Gowdy. You've got a gentleman that I have come to find out his nickname is the Hoosier Hammer. Chuck Klein, he's from Indianapolis. So I want to dive a little bit deeper. I don't know enough about Chuck Klein. I need to learn some. And Bill Terry, I've been really getting into his stuff. He's Player Manager, the last National Leaguer to hit 400, just squeaked in at 401. So I guess we'll still give him credit for being a 400 hitter in 1930. But that's pretty cool. So he's elite. Relatively short career too. But those two are added, and I'm down to, just a few bucks left. So I'm going to keep shopping. Love cards, right? So the last one is going to be a 1933 Tattoo Orbits. So if you've not seen Tattoo Orbits sets enough, you need to. And this is one of the coolest looking cards in the set. Still Hall of Famer, so I didn't go super oddball. Set's kind of tough to find, but they're definitely out there. So Al Simmons, not only another great right-handed hitter, his full first name is Aloysius, which is my dad's name, so he's definitely old school Polish roots, which is also cool. I was named Aaron because my mom did not want to do that to me, basically, is her wording. So I would have been the third. So I am not following in the Aloysius history. But Al Simmons, 330 plus career hitter, played with the A's and White Sox. That's another reason. I'm just going to keep showing this because I love this. I think this is one of the coolest looking cards. To find one where he's with the White Sox, again, a little bit tougher because he had a good chunk of his great run with the A's. The colors on this, you got like the ketchup mustard looking red and yellow, and then you've got that just really, really gorgeous White Sox uniform. He's just holding the bat there looking like he's ready to go out and smack a couple doubles and play ball for the day. So super cool. But I did want to just, take a little bit of time and explain upon the idea of value in the value vintage idea. So for me, it's the fact that you can absolutely make a purchase of this card, have it in a 3, and again, nothing but love for you. That makes a ton of sense. I think that's going to be a gorgeous card. This one's a little bit rough, but when I look at my collection and I can say, yeah, I've got some Cubs, I appreciate that. And then if I'm going to expand that out, I can say, you know what? I also made a few other pickups that kind of support that and give me some well-rounded stuff going on there. So I've got, a Hornsby and other like rare set. And then, good Lord, to me, Bill Dickey, super underrated. 52 tops. You never go wrong with that. And then you cap it off with a few raw cards that are from the 30s and super, super cool. So that's where value comes from. I hope the little bit of show and tell and show and share and an example of my ideas and my philosophy makes sense. So I really, really support anyone that wants to, collect in their own way. We all have our own styles, our own interests, our own, path to pursue. But let me know, how do you collect? Are you high grade? Are you low pop? Are you player run? I think it's all interesting to see how people collect in their own unique ways. And obviously it evolves over time too, which is super, super special to see how you've changed, kind of, I won't say influence, but who's impacted and maybe opened your mind to a new idea. I think that's a more positive way to look at it. So I don't like to think that I'm influenced by people, but positively impacted is definitely a good way to look at some of the ideas I'm seeing out there from some of these really, really amazing YouTubers and content creators that are sharing, and even some of the folks just in the community that are just making an offhanded comment. Someone made a comment the other day and said, check this card out. And I did. And I was like, it's like $1. I'm going to pick that up. It's a cool card. So thank you all. I appreciate it. I hope that all makes sense. I'll keep adding some videos. I'll do some player runs real soon, but this is number 10. I thought it was a great chance to pause and explain where value comes from and give you a little bit of an illustration with some of the cards I picked up in the last several years. So hope you all have a good one, and we will see you next time. Take care.